Yeah, yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shine. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shine. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to the H.G.R.G podcast, episode 38. What's going on, fellas? Just Jerry, DT. What's going on, guys?
How you doing? How you doing? Question. Lance, you still with us?
I'm still with you.
All right, that's what we want to hear, bro.
Hey. I'm still with you. Guys, listen. Today, say it again, DT.
Thanks a lot, bud.
So what we're going to talk about today, guys, is in-state investing versus out-of-state investing, right?
Here we go. This is a good one.
People that follow us, you know that DT does a lot of in-state investing. Jerry and I, we do a lot of out-of-state investing. Okay, that's our thing, and we'll both go through the pros and cons of both, our experiences and whatnot, and we'll just give you guys the raw and uncut truth, and the reality of it, and us, nothing new from us here at H.G.R.G. Remember, guys, like, subscribe, go to hdrg.club. And we have our portal ready for you guys. Go get that, be a member of the team, and let's get you to the next level as well.
Yes,
all
sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That being said, DT, all your stuff is in-state. It's what you love, right? And it's what you do. Now, even though you're in-state, give me the pros and the cons of that. So the pros of being in-state would look like what for you?
Everything. Cons, nothing. Next subject.
Well, it's definitely cons because it's hard to expand, right? Isn't it?
Well, I mean, it depends on the level of your investments, right? So if you're looking to buy, several hundred properties, you could do that locally. If you're looking to buy several thousands, then you may need to expand. Though you could do that locally as well. But nevertheless, I mean, realistically speaking, the town is only but so big, so you'd have to expand. So there really is no cons to investing locally. I stand on that. I don't think that there's any cons on that. I don't really have a con. I think there's nothing but pros. Pros are obviously you have boots on ground. I have a team, so my team is locally. I could physically reach out and touch these people. I could pull up to offices if I have to. I can go to lawyers, attorneys, realtors, actual properties, touch siding, touch driveways, touch porches, to physically see what I'm buying, how I'm buying, periodically, sporadically drive by some of the properties that I own to see what the upkeep is, if you will, or what the condition of the properties are, meet the inspectors, the city and county inspectors, the town inspectors, build that infrastructure, if you will, and which is going to take me to the next level.
Gotcha. Okay. So, I mean, there it is as far as in-state, right? I mean, you really got to that.
Amen.
I mean, it's just,
Thanks, bud.
Mic drop. So, I mean, it's just
but I would rebuttal with, they now know who you are every time you go to a unit or not. You the owner. So they could physically touch you as well. So I believe that's a con for me, because you're accessible and you're reachable any given time. I just know where you at. All I gotta do is look for you, and then I'll get you. For me personally, I think the less that I gotta handle physically, my hands touching you, is better for me, because you can't complain to me. You complain to my.
That I think that's a good point. And I'm sure there are some people that are in that situation. That's not my reality. It's a business for me. So whenever I show up to a property, if the tenant knows that I'm an owner, most tenants don't. Most tenants think I'm maintenance. I don't go to properties. Right? That's what I thought. When I go to properties that, I'm not there like, hey, I own this place. What do you think? I just go there and say, hey, I'm doing an inspection, or I'm here with the insurance. I'm here with the whatever it is. And, I have my, dirty clothes on, contractors, drills, and, measuring tapes, flashlights, and all that good stuff. So nevertheless, but the ones that do know that I'm, because they've been with me forever, and they know that I'm married to the wife of who they pay rent to and stuff like that, then they put two and two together. But nevertheless, it's a business for me. So when they say, hey, I got ABC, all right, let me talk to the company. Oh, by the way, did you put that in the portal? Did you make that report through the portal? There's a process. My water heater doesn't work, my light doesn't work. Yeah, this is my unit and I'm going to take care of it, but there's a process. Did you make that request through the portal? Did you text the tenant line? Did you make all that? Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, well, make sure you do that. And then once you do that, I'll make sure it's taken care of ASAP.
So you put some space between you.
Yeah, have to. You have to. 100%. You have to.
And this is you per se. So I want to talk about local investors that only have one or two, or have one
that manage everything themselves. You're saying
correct? Yeah. So I need, because DT, we're here.
Mm-hmm.
We have to bring it down here
Mm-hmm.
so we can understand what they're going through.
Yeah, I got
and your future, and I want you to explain how to get to you.
That's
how to get to the next step.
An amazing point. So we have, believe it or not, we get investors that come over to us, right? And they're like, whatever it is, 1, 2, 5, 10, 15 units, and they're managing them themselves. And they're, from day one, they go in, they turn their screwdrivers, and they, snake out their drains, and they change out whatever. And it's worked for them. But then it gets to a point where it's overwhelming. So now they have to overturn it to a management team. So then they'll come over to us and, we'll take management. So at that point, to be honest with you, our biggest hurdle, one would think, is always the tenants, right? No, our biggest hurdle is the owner letting go, because them, it's
nobody can do it better than me.
Right. Nobody can do better than me. Number one. Number two is it's their baby. They've raised baby, to a teenager, to whatever it is, right? And they have the hardest time, for the most part, letting it all go to somebody else and then trusting every aspect of that to them, right? So instead of, handing it over and saying, okay, now all the tenants have to contact you for everything, right? They'll still allow the tenants to call them for whatever, maintenance issues, late rent, complaints about the next door neighbors. So then the owner calls us, and the owner's like, I'm tired of this. I don't want to deal with this no more. That's why I turned it over to a management team. Okay, let me explain something to you. You have to cut communication with them, period. You cannot make yourself accessible. You have to just cold-blooded, just stop it. It can't happen no more. Because as long as you're accessible, why would they contact me?
Right.
They know I'm the middleman. They're going to just not deal with me. So if that's the case, why are you paying for management if you're not allowing, them to do their job? That's like the biggest hurdle ever for us. You know what I'm saying? To receive a owner-ran company, whether it's 1 unit, 2 units, or 20 units, and it's turned over to a management, that's a process. And honestly, it typically takes like 4 to 6 months for them to like learn that lesson. And believe it or not, when they're interested in us and they inquire about our services and how we operate, that's the biggest part of my conversation. Is I learn if they're like the owner occupant, the owner handler, whatever. And I explain to them, the only way this is going to work is if you release. You have to, it's like divorcing your wife. I've never been through it, but that's what I think it's like. It's like losing your child to a new wife or a new husband. Like they're gone. You just have to accept.
Let go. Yeah.
You're giving them away. You're walking them down the aisle. But once you sign them the management agreement to allow us to take advantage of it, that's like you handing your child or whatever over to a new husband, a new wife, or whatever that looks like. And you have to let it go like that. And it's honestly, it's one of the toughest things that we deal with, but nevertheless, it's a real thing.
So as far as out of state, just Jerry and I, we know. I mean, everyone told us don't do it. I mean, if you listen to this podcast, you've heard us say it before. I mean, everyone, millionaires saying don't do it. Investors seasoned saying don't do it. Right. And now I understand why they were saying it. but now we also understand how to make it successful.
Correct.
And that's why we always preach to everybody, team.
Absolutely.
You know, because we were getting killed in the beginning. We had no structure. We didn't know. We didn't have anything set up, right, where there was a process for what we did. Then we started to learn that we need a process. And we started, you know, we tried to be tricksters, right? So like, send that person to the property, you know, and then after that, but hey, let's call this person, send that person to the property too. And like, okay, cool. And we take notes. Or just say, hey, send one more person. Let's send one more person. So we started to get boots on the ground, and we started to, you know, treat it like an onion, layer by layer by layer, to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
And then you have the team. So I mean, I would say this: it was the best choice we could have ever made, because we found the market that we liked, and we didn't get scared away because it was out of state.
So that's the thing. That is the thing. In out of state, you have the choice to make or choose your market. So in locally, you could kind of find a niche that works for you, but you cannot create a market in a locally conversation. You can't create it. It is what it is.
Right.
In out of state, you kind of can pick where you want to go and focus your investments are. Yeah. So if you learn the market, you learn real estate, and you understand real estate, you could capitalize for a great market. And that's what we did. We capitalized in a great market. Now, the cons, some of the cons.
What are the keys to that though? How do you capitalize? What are the keys to capitalization in an out-of-state market as an out-of-town investor?
Well, it's definitely the team. Right. So you want to capitalize on maybe, like, say, the ROI.
Yeah. So devil's advocate, and I'm gonna interrupt you because I'm talking to you like I'm the listener, right? Because I'm not an out-of-town investor. So this would be, if I'm watching, this is the questions that I would ask. So I'm gonna interject, right? Absolutely. So you said the team, right? Okay. So I'm an out-of-town investor. I don't have a team. I don't know about H.G.R.G. I don't know. I've never heard about HDRG.club. Now I do. You're listening. You're paying attention. The answer is always HDRG.club. Understood.
So let's say HGRG didn't exist. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Yes, sir. Okay. Right. So, how do you create that team? How do you find that team?
It's growing pains. It truly is. It's growing pains.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You may hire. I mean, we fired everybody. Everything that we started off with, we no longer have now as a team. Our realtor, you know, or some of the realtors we've let go. Attorneys, I would think, if you're telling me firing an attorney, I would never think that in my life, that you could fire an attorney, or that person. This person has a degree, they're smart, you know, they have a whole firm. There's no, you know, what are they gonna?
How are they gonna mess that up?
Right.
How can you mess it up? They can't. Right. I mean, just knowing
property management, we fired
property management. My God.
So where it comes down with how to get to the team is 100% going through the mud. And when you go through the mud, you spend mud money, and that mud money could go from 10,000 to 250,000 of growing pains. So
potentially losing your whole portfolio.
1,000 if you buy wrong because you have the wrong team, or you thought that person sound genuine on the phone because you did it over the phone or over FaceTime, and he sold you a lemon. You know he gets stuck with that lemon? Nobody else but you.
Right. You have to move quickly though. Right. So that's one thing that I think having Jerry as a partner kept us alive out there, because he was quick to just fire everybody. And I'm out of state. I'm like, well, then who's going to do this? Or who's going to do that? Or how are we going to do that? He's like, doesn't matter. We'll figure it out. Fire him. We'll figure that out.
The concept is we have no time to play with. See, DT could have time and go do it himself. He could walk to that property and go, hey, all right, this tenant's not paying, or this doesn't look right. And he could figure it out standing there. out of state investors don't have that time.
Yeah.
Because if the longer you wait with that person, the longer you lose money, the longer you get taken advantage of. Because you do get taken advantage of because they know you're not there.
100%. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the game.
Let's be very clear. I want to be very clear for the audience, just Jerry. We have gotten taken advantage of.
Correct.
Multiple times.
Correct.
And that goes for out of state and local. Locally, you get taken advantage of as well.
Right. Agreed. If you don't know what you're talking about, absolutely.
Yeah. Locally, people, you hire contractors who you give a deposit to, they start the job, never come back. All the time. Even your tenants, you vet your tenant, you do the best of your ability, you place them, they don't pay you, you got to evict them, get taken advantage of. Attorneys, you trust them to do certain things, they get taken advantage of. Realtors, they just in it for the quick buck. You don't really know, you're not seasoned, you're not you don't have a team already in place. You got to go through 3 or 4 realtors before you find the right one or the right 2 or 3 or 5. So the first 2 or 3 you did deals with them, they took advantage of you. It happens. It can happen locally, it can happen out of state as well. So super important to pay attention to that.
That's very true. I like how you drew that that comparison there, where we're sitting here complaining about getting taken advantage of out of state, but in state as well. These people that you're around when you're green, and they pick up on that shit that you don't know what the hell you're talking about, start taking advantage of you. Oh, this floor here, yeah, this floor is going to take about 5,000. Really, but if you season that it costs you 1,200 or 2,000 to do it, right? Now that you've been around, you know that. But if it's your first property, your second property, you may not know that.
Yes.
So eventually you learn it down the line, but you're gonna, eventually you make I got taking advantage of for $3,000. When I first started.
Right.
So
I'm sure you have 4 or 5 stories like that.
Yeah.
A couple 20,000. Let's put a spin on this, right? To make it relevant to the cause, right? Locally or out of state investors, right? What does HDRG offer to the local investor as opposed to the out of state investor? Why HDRG if I'm a local or I'm out of state? Why should I go that route?
So you need to go that route because we network. We definitely deal with everything off market. We deal with great realtors. You may not deal with the same realtors we got because you think they're high class. Well, these guys deal with us. And we have the connections that to bring them to a level that you could buy from them. We deal with off market, like I just said, off market deal. If you don't know off market deal, you need a kind of like a network to get off market deals. Because you just can't you can, but it's going to be very hard. You just get an off market deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are knocking on you doing off market deals, and you're new to the game. It comes with a network. It comes with a network, and that's something that H.G.R.G has.
What's the value? What's the value in an off market deal to somebody who's listening who is a seasoned and then somebody who's green? What's the value of an off market deal?
Oh, you don't have to compete. I mean, you're the first one to know about it, right? You get first dibs at it basically, and then you have I don't want to say the balls in your court totally, but you can go in there, and if you can make a fair offer, and you can grab it up, you're winning. Instead of it being on the market where especially now you're dealing with 10 other offers, and now you're paying $20,000 above, the market, the market value. When really you could have got it at market value, maybe even 5,000-10,000 under it, because you were the first one, and they were like, you know what, it seems fair. I just want to get this off my hands. Let's go. Let's do it.
And to add to off market deals, there's ways to get the off market deal, like sellers concessions, not concessions, finance sellers financing. So that means you could buy the property with zero money down and walk into a deal.
Yep.
You're not doing that at a finance deal or on market deal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's a very big important thing.
Subject twos are real things. We do those as well. Like we have experience with all that good stuff here at HDRG. So that obviously all good points of why HDRG, if you're in town, out of town investor. Biggest thing for me, I think is I'm not an out of town investor, but if I was, I think the biggest value that HDRG brings to an out-of-town investor would be the ability to differentiate a good buy from a bad buy.
Agreed. Right.
Along with the team. What do I mean by that? There's on paper, I live in New York City, right? Let's just say I live in New York City. I can't touch a property here for less than $1 million. I want to invest in real estate. I go to the Rochester market. I see properties for 60, 70, 80, 100,000, $250,000 and less. Very doable for me because of where I live and what my financial status is. Why would I not just buy everything I see? Right? Why would I? How do I differentiate what's a good buy from a bad buy? I mean, for 40 grand, how can I lose? For 60,000 on a double, how can I lose? Like, there's no way.
You can still lose.
That's what the out-of-town investors see, right? You get that the diamonds in your eyes, and you just, oh my God, this is like,
that was us. That was Jerry and I. I'm like, there's no way in hell there's a property that you can buy for 60,000.
Right.
I was telling people, and nobody believed us. Like, ain't probably $60,000. I'm telling you that there's this place called Rochester, New York, where we can go get an $80,000 property.
But in their mind, the $60,000 is the trap house, right? The drug lord.
Yep.
But no, it's not.
Yeah, and
if
just
you buy right. Go ahead, sorry.
No, you're good. Your point is absolutely perfect segue to what I'm saying. Like you were saying, if you buy right and you have the right team in place and the right people to advise you of what's a good and a bad buy, it's a very doable thing.
Correct.
Right? You got to have your feet to the street. You got to have your ears on the ground.
But not to cut you off too, DT, you always say this: 5 houses down can make a world of difference.
A world of difference.
It's 5 houses down because why? It's not on the corner. It's not across the street from the store that's busy, and then it's on the opposite side, right near a quiet street. It's a lot, it means a lot more to a tenant to live on that side of the street 100%. Than it does up the street on the corner,
100%,
where it's busy by a main street.
Absolutely.
Just 5 houses can make a difference, and to have that information, to have someone, especially like you, DT, to have someone like you to go, hey, listen, this block is a no-no. This is good. This is good. To have that right there is so valuable. Mm-hmm. It's not even funny. I mean, we've been on Zoom calls with clients where, he loves that. He loves it about you. That he's like, you don't know how many times DT has saved me because he knows, the locality.
The right side of the house is a prostitute house. That he knows, he gives you all that. See, the thing is, we're transparent here, but in real conversation, when you're closing, you're buying a house, you get the real analysis of the area. This right here is a bad buy because A, B, C, and D.
Yeah. And obviously you get that from H.G.R.G. And I'm sure that there's other people who offer things similar to that. Nevertheless, in our market, in our way, we do the most with it, right? We take that. We really, to be honest with you, we treat every deal that we go through with somebody as if it was our own.
That's correct. That's
right?
the only way to do it.
We vet it the same way. We give the same opinions, because 9 times out of 10, they're going to ask us, what would you do if you were in our situation? And we don't just say buy it, because we don't make $1 off of them buying that property. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's not about the financial gain from you.
We've said no multiple times already. I don't want to bring up people's names, but we've said
100%. 100%. I actually probably say more no's than yeses, to be honest with you. Right.
Yeah.
But the value, to Jerry's point, the value of being able to differentiate a good buy from a bad buy, what's on the street, next to the street, in the street, around the house that you're considering purchasing, is to me is like if I was an out-of-town investor, that would be the most value in what you can offer me, because I have the funds. I'm an investor. I want to invest. I have an idea what it looks like. I'm going to go to your market or wherever you recommend I go. I need that insight.
Absolutely.
And I'm willing to pay for that.
Right. And I'm glad you asked the question like you did before, what's the cons, and if there was no H.G.R.G, what does it look like? Because it is growing pains. I mean, we would be liars if we said anything different.
Right.
Can you get lucky? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Chances are, though, you're going to go through it.
Yeah,
But that was the cause.
You can't. I'll tell you this, Lance. I promise you, you can't get lucky twice.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear nothing of the sort. You're not getting lucky twice.
Mm.
You get lucky on the first buy. The second time you buy and you're doing exactly the same thing, you didn't go through any team, you did everything. I guarantee you the second one's gonna kick you in your butt.
Yeah, and this is,
if not the second, the third, or so on and so forth.
it's coming. No matter what, it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. I promise you that.
Yes.
You know, and that's why I love H.G.R.G. You know, it's what we created, man. That's why I always say it's plug and play. It's simple. It's simple. We did the hardship. We did the hard, and we talk about it here a lot, you know, because it's just our reality. Yeah. You know, we got hit and we got hurt. You know, we got hit, we got hurt. We were able to withstand it because we got the right people around us just in time. But if we didn't get the right people, I mean, you would never hear about us. We'd be done already.
Yeah, one of the greatest things to hear from investors that we still are growing with, even Lance and Jerry, and my relationship, you know, started like this, and it continued and flourished like this. And other investors as well that we deal with, they mention, you know, like, man, if I would have stumbled upon you first, where I would be, you know, how many thousands of dollars in mistakes that I would have avoided. You know what I mean?
I smile because we say that if I had you guys when we first started, do you know how far I would be?
Yeah. If there was an H.G.R.G.
Yeah.
And he's not fluff. That's not fluff, because we've paid in other, you know, business ventures and whatnot to educate ourselves and to learn and to get good people around us. Right. So we've paid already. So it's not like he's full of shit where he's just saying, oh, H.G.R.G, yeah, I would have done it. You know, we've in other, like I said, business ventures, we've done it. We've paid. We pay for the education. We pay the education now.
And we'll have
something to brush our minds up, our horizons, our education. We pay for it.
Yeah. And
we're not scared to do that.
We have testimonials that we've already have. We have testimonials that are coming. Yeah. Again, we don't know how to be braggadocious people. We're going to learn how to be that in a respectful, humble manner. But nevertheless, what we're saying is obviously it's all tried and true. Our ideology in creating HDRG and also now broadcasting it to the world, hitting social media so hard, podcasting heavy, you know, content. You know, our ideology is that we want to create something that we could show first. We don't want to just be like, let me talk about it. We want to show you better than we can tell you. I live by that statement. Let me show you better than I can tell you. Matter of fact, true story.
I remember when you told us
full circle. When Lance and Jerry were interviewing us in our company, you know, to work together, you know, because I use that statement with a lot of investors that I speak to, because to be honest with you, that's how I feel. If I was an investor, it all sounds good. Everybody has a great sales pitch, right? Absolutely. Most of the people are great salesmen, great saleswomen. You don't know who's really, really real, right? So when I'm talking, I understand that sometimes I'm over talking. It sounds like fluff. So I just need to just stop real quick and just say to you, listen, just let me show you better than I can tell you. You know, give me the opportunity to show you better. Nevertheless, I'll sell myself enough. Then I'll stop it at a point where at this point, I've said all I have to say. I really can't make no more up or dance and dial this up no better. Just allow me the opportunity to show you better than I can tell you. So HDRG has done that. You know, we've done the background, we've done the work, we've put in the work financially, time wise, everything. We've been in this thing for 20 plus years. You know what I'm saying? We put in the work. So now,
and we work with in-state and out-of-state investors.
We're prime examples. If you look on the screen, you got in-state and out-of-state investors right on the screen. So I mean,
I would ask that question though. So, do we buy as a green investor? Would you recommend me buying out of state?
With H.G.R.G? Absolutely.
Without H.G.R.G.
Without H.G.R.G, I would still recommend buying out of state.
Yeah,
just make sure you're ready for growing pains. right? Make sure you're ready to make mistakes. Make sure you're in a financial situation where you're comfortable enough to make those mistakes. And if you're not in a financial situation where you're comfortable enough to make those mistakes, then you better be ready to put in that work, sweat equity. You better be ready to either make trips to that place and physically do the work yourself, or have somebody that you know that's already in that market that's successful and pigtail off of their success.
Yep.
You know, those are a couple different things you could do, but nevertheless, the answer is always yes. Go. I'm go. It's go for me. It's go.
And the second question would be, do you recommend locally?
Same answer.
Okay.
Same answer. No different.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's a yes situation.
Yes. Always, we're investors, bro. We're always gonna say yes.
What I would say to somebody who's considering either of the two, right? You have the option to go local, or you have the option to go out of state or out of town, out of city, right? What I would say to you is this, evaluate what the returns are.
There you go.
Find the markets that fit the returns that are going to be substantial enough for you to move, right? I don't move out of bed unless a certain dollar amount or a certain gratification comes along with that, right?
Agreed.
I don't leave bed unless I know it's going to satisfy my kids, my family, my household, and what I'm doing. So I would say to the green investor, whoever it is, make sure that whatever you're doing, when I say leave bed, I mean, get involved with a business opportunity, get involved with real estate, get involved. Make sure it's worth you leaving bed. It doesn't always have to be a large dollar amount attached to that, because the education alone could be worth it, because, your first move might not be your best move.
Right.
Financially.
Agreed.
Financially, it may not be your best move, but it may be the best move you ever made from experience.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, just different things there. Gem, that was a gem.
But yeah, that's how I look at it. We're all investors here. We're not going to tell you no. We're just going to tell you what comes with both.
And oh, by the way, it's 2022. Market is on fire. Houses are going for 20, 30, 40,000 above. Blah, blah. We still buying houses for 40. We still buying houses for 50. We still buying houses for 60. We still got off-market deals for 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. Yeah, some of them need work. Some of them are cash deals. Some of them are whatever. Nevertheless, we still got those deals. We still are that, attachment. So HDRG has what you need, as well as the on-market stuff. And we have relationships with the realtors that are probably listing these properties, in which we may have an insight that can get you the best deal, the first offer, premature. Like, we are that. We going outside the box now. We are that. So we ain't just coming to you with information that's, cookie cutter, follow this and you're going to win. Now we're coming to you with aggressive information. Like, we are that. We are in the streets. We are in the market. We are in the field. They know about us. We know about them. If what he said, if a cookie gets sold in the street, I want in.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's how it works here. If a house is listed on the market, I need to know about it. And if there's a house that's not on the market, this being talked about it, I want in. I need to know about it. I might not be able to sell it. I might not be able to sell it. I might not have the person who's going to buy it. Nevertheless, I just need to know about it. That's all.
It's a full takeover from H.G.R.G, man. I'm telling you. It's a full takeover. So if you're out of state or if you're in state, you need if you're especially in the Rochester area, you need to holler at H.G.R.G. If you're out of state and you watch this and you're thinking about doing it, get in touch with H.G.R.G. Listen,
wherever you are. And again, if you're in a place where you're comfortable with your local market and you want to win in your local market, and you're looking for a formula to win in your local market, we have that for you.
Right.
We have that for you.
Great.
Yeah, absolutely. Learn your expectations of everybody around you, what you need around you, who you need around you, and what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, it's all here. It's all here at HDRG.club. And we're going hard now because, the proof is in the pudding. Yeah. We've done everything. We've done the all the stuff previously before, introducing this.
Conversation's going to be a little bit different now.
Conversation
is definitely going to be a little bit different. These episodes are going to be a little bit different. You're going to hear a little bit more. This is like when you leave high school and you go to college, or when you leave middle school and go to high school. you know, the vibe is different. You know, the atmosphere is different. This is what it's going to be, you know, because we're now at that level because we put that work in, like we said, and we've graduated the middle school. So now we're going to high school or we're going to college or whatever. We're going to give it to you in that manner. And we're going to be, you know, a little bit forceful about it. We're going to be a little bit more braggadocious about it in a humble way because, you know, we pop in our collar. We have success stories.
Because now we got results.
Yeah, exactly. We got results. And we're not, you know, we've had results from our own personal situations. You know, that's how we got where we are. Lance and Jerry came to me when they were already on a level. You know, when Lance and Jerry met me, I was already at a level. You know, obviously since we've met each other, we know each other for like 7 years, 6 years. Yeah, and that shit has it's multiplied. So and it hasn't dumbed down at all. Like you know, nobody stopped doing 35 miles an hour. If not, we doing 65, 70.
Yeah, we doing 60.
So we on the freeway now.
Exactly. So what I say to everybody is that, you know, it's not going to stop. And this is the way we're going to treat this podcast. We started at, you know, we're around the school zone. So we're doing 20, 25. Right.
Lights flashing.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, lights flashing, signal lights here and there. Now we're a little bit 45, 50, you know, so it's gonna the conversation is gonna change. It's gonna be a little bit more graduated because, you know, we're not always just gonna talk to first-time investors. We're not always just talk to seasoned investors. We're gonna talk to people who are experienced, seasoned, and are looking for a different experience, different vibe. You know, our you know, our portal, our podcast, our dreams are really here. They're here. We're seeing them. We're visioning.
Yeah, we bring that to you, bro.
It's exciting.
We're gonna keep bringing on our guests in these port. We're gonna keep funneling people through instead of us just telling you. I love the fact when we have people that we've worked with come here and tell you for themselves.
We're gonna definitely.
We have one special one I'm waiting for sure.
Yeah, we can definitely show you better than we can tell you for sure. 100%. And we're coming with real, you know, real people, real results. Real testimonies, not people who did it and we met them and they did it without us and we just know them when they're cool with them. We're talking about people that strictly and solely based off of our information, our team, and our team, are they where they're going and are able to do what they've done already. Now, where the sky and where their limit is and where they're going to go in the future, only God knows. And it, you know, it may not be solely based off of H.G.R.G, but I tell you what, the foundation was based off that.
Absolutely. I like how you put that. Listen, in state, out of state,
I'm here for it.
Regardless of what your situation is, start investing, do your homework. You know, if you need a team, someone that's, you know, tried and proven, HDRG.club, you know, go there, get the portal. We're here for you guys now. Like I said, we on hard now. I mean, we have our results.
Oh, in the paint.
Hey,
that's it.
Hey,
you know, everything now is what we've been building up to, so we can present it to you guys. And we're here, H.G.R.G. We're here. And
always be clear too, Lance G, to make sure that the people, you know, if you have questions, concerns, thoughts, comments, topics, you're going through a situation in your market, experiencing something, and you want to just ask a question. No strings attached, no ties, no affiliation. We won't put you on blast. You'll be unknown. We'll just, you know, make it like a general conversation, general topic, and, you know, we'll expound on that. If we don't have the answer, we'll get you the answer. If you want to, you know, chime in, you want a phone call in, you know, we're open to that as well. So, you know,
information is always below in our videos. Information on how to contact us is always on our videos.
That's it, in the description. That's right. Listen, we appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, just Jerry. I appreciate you, DT, and most of all, I appreciate you guys. Make sure you continue to rock with us, H.G.R.G.
Hey, Lance, I'm gonna thank you too, bud. Have a great night.
What they say? I'm so divine, imperfection, perfection, my presence shine. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined for real.